Great. So just a reminder that as we start our meeting, that we're being recorded. And I have a little sign out here to remind folks who may see our recording by DCTV. Microphones are on, so be mindful of your side conversations since they too will be recorded for posterity. First, I'd like to have a motion to accept the minutes as written and distributed earlier.
Motion.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
Are there any additions, revisions, corrections to the minutes for our June 11th, 2024 meeting? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that's unanimous.
I
We have-
wasn't here, so I should abstain.
Okay, one abstention. Great. Thank you. We have some invoices. Okay,
Let's start with the first one by one.
all right. The first one, our annual membership dues, $3,500, which I believe is what they were last year. This is with the Community Preservation Coalition that does education advocacy on behalf of the Community Preservation Act. Provides technical assistance to CPCs and things like that. I think probably a little while ago, but it was this summer, recently attended their online webinar. That was kind of good for me. I don't know if, Susan, you were able to make that, the coalition's kind of CPC or CPA 101 or something like they called it. I think it was like 2 months ago. It was way back that they did it. But I was able to attend. Actually, it was kind of a good refresher for me.
You probably can get it online still.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, actually, if you go to the coalition,
Hold on to these and
coalition website.
when we all agree that this is.
Our new chair just went to that,
Sign
said
it
it
and
was
send it
good.
back.
Oh, okay.
It helped him,
Oh, great.
get on board a little bit.
And then we have $115 invoice related to the Dartmouth Dog Park. And that is for, let's see, these are, I think it's engineering services. Take a look at that. And we have invoice for $1,871 for the Dartmouth Cultural Center, and that includes some of the project management and some design work. And you can take a look at that. Included with their invoice, and we did not have the full report, and that's really not necessary, but just so folks know, they did go ahead with the testing for asbestos, and there were a couple of locations where
Am I
asbestos.
supposed to have this one?
I
Heritage
don't-
Trail?
We will get to that.
No, that was over here, that's why.
Right, because it comes, people
comes
submit
together.
it with the invoice. So they did identify asbestos in the property, which is not really a surprise. Couple of locations, flooring, caulking in windows, a couple of places like that. So they have an estimate for removal, remediation, and they're now then kind of looking at their budget and what, how they'll proceed. And then we have, thank you, we have an invoice, oh, this is great. I will write in so people can see. You okay if I write on, oh, you know, Michelle is like very competent.
Yes,
Let's just establish that
yes.
she's
Yeah.
extremely competent. I feel like
really is.
that person in MASH, if you've ever watched the TV
Yeah.
show, where
Radar?
everything is,
Radar.
yes.
Or
radar.
Paul O'Reilly.
Everything is done just.
Hey, Ray, oh, that's
you know,
beautiful. I'm gonna have to
ahead
text
of
Jimmy.
everything.
Call
I'll
her
take that
radar.
It is
Excellent.
it is a compliment,
you.
it is a
That's-
full
I like
compliment. Yeah, and so the
Much better
time,
looking too.
the time associated with the charges are here. And this is for, work on, looks like some of this is the complaint, the open meeting law, complaint, as well as, guidance on the conservation restriction process that I had asked them to comment on. Those are our invoices, and so,
Vouchers on the bottom.
Susan, you're in the hot seat for making the first motion, and we'll just do them one at a time. If you could just say to whom and the amount, that would be great.
I make a motion to pay the Community Preservation Coalition for $3,500.
All right, second,
Second.
and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, that's unanimous. And then you sign it, and then they start, everybody signs it on the way back. It's one of the few choreographed things we do as a committee. This is the thing.
Or do I have to sign?
No, go ahead.
I make a motion to pay Studio to Sustain $1,871 for the Dartmouth Cultural Center.
Second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
I make a motion to pay GAF Engineering $115 on behalf of the Dartmouth Dog Park.
Second on that?
Second.
Margaret, and any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, that's unanimous.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
When do you think that dog park will be completely done?
I don't have a project status report.
On
but
a
I
Tuesday.
Probably checking in with Tim at a future meeting would be a good thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, it still needs a little bit of work.
does it? Yeah.
So I'm doing a motion on this too. Am I doing a motion on this too?
Right.
Yeah.
What's this? To Attorney Savastano, Town Council.
Okay.
For
I'm-
his, for his,
I make a motion to pay Anthony Savastano $1,237.50.
All right, second,
second.
it's Jim, and any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. That's unanimous. Great, thank you. Okay, in terms of correspondence, we have received, we were copied on a letter from the Attorney General's office to Mr. Patrick Higgins. Mr. Higgins had filed the open meeting law complaint, I believe back in December or early January. And I will read the letter from the Attorney General's office, which is dated July 5th. Dear Patrick Higgins, we understand that on or about December 28th, 2023, you filed a complaint with the Dartmouth Community Preservation Committee alleging a violation of the open meeting law, Mass General Law 30A, Section 18 to 25. Our office received notification of the complaint and a response from the committee on January 18th, 2024. If a complainant is unsatisfied with the public body's response and at least 30 days have passed since the complaint was filed with the public body, the complainant may request review by our office by filing a copy of the initial complaint with the Division of Open Government, Mass General Laws 30A, 23B, 940 CMR 29057. The request for review generally must be filed no later than 90 days after the date of the alleged open meeting law violation, 940 CMR 29057. We notified you on February 5th, 2024, that if we did not receive the request for review from you by March 11th, 2024, we would presume the action taken by the committee was sufficient and would close this file. Our office currently has no record that you requested review of the complaint, therefore we now consider this matter closed. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions or believe anything stated in this letter to be inaccurate. Sincerely, Natalie Reyes, Paralegal, Division of Open Government. The question before us is whether we now consider this matter closed. I had checked in with Attorney Savastano, and that is the question. Per the open meeting law, when we have gone into executive session about a certain matter, when the matter is considered closed, then the minutes of the executive session are posted. They then can become public. So the only instance where that might not occur is if the town council is present during an executive session in which it can be considered attorney-client privilege. So we just took up the executive session ourselves on the complaint, and with the written consultation from Mr. Savastano, we proceeded with our response. So the question here is if we vote that the matter is closed. If so, then what I'll do is we'll distribute the executive committee minutes to you all, and then in our September meeting, like we have with all of our minutes, in our September meeting we will approve them. And what I'll do is I'll make a note to send them out a little bit before, a few days, they're not long, it's only a page long, a few days before our September meeting, just because as a matter of, it still is a confidential session, and those minutes can't be distributed or circulated inadvertently until the committee has approved them. So what I'll do is I'll make a note, send them out like 3 or 4 days before our meeting. They'll take you about 10 minutes to read them. And then we'll just take up approval of the minutes in September. The final version approved, then we'll get posted, and we have finished the process, if you will. So can I have a motion that the CPC considers now the open meeting complaint filed by Mr. Higgins to now be a closed matter?
I'll make that motion.
In a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions, discussion?
And the Attorney General's office has closed it on their part?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Ours was closed as well.
Yeah.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
And 1 abstention. All right. Very good.
Just for reference, ZBA's was closed also.
Oh, okay, great. Just want to make this note. room is awfully empty right now. We haven't heard anything from the scenic folks about, we got their letter.
They've gone, haven't they?
Okay, and they got their letter to come today?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. Well, we will, I have not heard anything. Okay, so we're gonna skip around our agenda, if we may. But I haven't seen any response that they were not going to be here. So we'll skip over to project updates. The Mendes Montero project, I checked in with, I think do we have a project update from Connie?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Distribute that.
I did everyone.
Okay, perfect.
Shop packet.
See, this is another example. I already did. Great. So the brief update on this project, or the construction of those 10 units, is that closing is scheduled for July 25th. And that would be, then that would allow them to go forward with construction. I just checked with Connie this afternoon to see if indeed that happened. She said it was postponed to the 22nd of August, but it's still on the docket to occur. So the first, so we have two grants for this project. The first grant for development, pre-development costs has been totally expended. The grant that then is current, which for an identifying number, it's 2023-0601 for $500,000 is still current, but we need to extend it now for another year, and that was to be used only for construction. So that's why there is still, there have been no expenses against that, that grant yet. So if I could have a motion to extend the term of grant, of the Mendes Montero project grant 2023-0601 for another year ending August 31st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
A second, any questions or discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, so that's unanimous.
Buddy, I only know what I read in the papers,
Yeah,
which is what I blame my ignorance on. But, I mean, do I understand correctly that, you know, the housing authority basically rethought their budgets and savings and found the necessary money to complete the funding for this and get it going?
yeah, I don't know I don't know the details of how they closed their gap. I know that our 500,000 was half of the gap they were trying to close.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the state came forward with the additional money, or there was some scope of the project adjustments or something, or whatever that might be. I'm not sure.
I thought I saw some reference to having a different attitude toward a reserve. on the
Or,
last-
yes, where you could
Yeah,
change your
they-
attitudes about reserves.
Or they rummaged through the couch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, so,
I wanted to congratulate Mike.
yes, if Mike was here, yeah, that's probably something he was very astute at, given
Yeah.
his expertise about looking
Yeah,
at
well,
that, so.
He of all people, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I believe housing authorities are required to carry a certain level of reserves based on the size of the housing authority, so it could be, and I'm just speculating, that they were allowed to go under that as a way of closing this. But I'm not positive, so
Yeah.
when Mike shows up at one of our future meetings, we could, that'd be a great curiosity to figure out. The other project status report we have is from the Heritage Trail. And they now have a website. The website is live on the town meeting, the webpage on the town meeting. I haven't looked at it, but it lays out the, I believe it lays out the route, and the kiosks have QR codes on them. And so where they are now is having to install the signs along the roads that then mark and establish this trail. And the DPW, Mr. Langhauser has reported that DPW is down several staff. They have several vacancies. And so the labor that they were hoping for in order to do things like install these signs along the road hasn't materialized. I believe they are planning to have a ride, public kind of ride of this trail in September. And so I believe Mr. Langhauser is actually installing many of these, at least enough of these signs, so that they don't lose people in the inaugural run of the trail, of this route. But not all of the signs, because, you know, he's a volunteer. He probably has a real job, that and family and all these things that all of us can, you know, identify with. So that's been a real struggle for them. And I think related to this, I think it is at the, is it fire department renovations?
Yes.
Down that way,
Yeah.
in the village?
Yep.
So there's a kiosk at the village that was originally installed with the Dartmouth 350 kind of celebration. And that kiosk has to be moved temporarily, is how it's described, so the renovations and trucks and all that kind of stuff can access the fire department. Mr. Langhauser and the committee, the Pathways Committee, sorry, has worked out that it can be relocated down at the bridge where the little maritime kind of location is. But again, there isn't the personnel to actually reinstall it down there. The DPW can't, is not able to assist. Mr. Langhauser's written to me and asked, is that something that the current grant could pay for, which is the labor to install this, relocate this kiosk. I said, you know, I gave him my opinion and said then I would bring it to the committee. And so here we are. So my opinion is that the, that money to relocate a kiosk that was installed during the Dartmouth 350, for the Dartmouth 350 celebration is out of the scope of this grant. Because this grant that we took to, the proposal we took to town meeting and town meeting approved was funds to install 2 new additional kiosks and then to mark this bike path with signage and things like that. And so that was my opinion, but I'm
Yeah.
not comfortable just giving in my opinion and not bringing the question to the committee. So that's the question before us. And I don't know if folks can, anyone see it a different way.
My immediate reaction was, gee whiz, can't.
Yeah, practical, yeah. Yeah.
Fire District One is rolling in money, or, I mean, you know, I think they have the largest budget of a fire district in town. And they're about to spend, no? Okay. I don't know, I mean, they're about to spend a substantial sum to house their substantial fleet. And I would try to cajole them into doing this out of the goodness of their hearts.
Well, I agree that we shouldn't pay for it, but I agree we shouldn't pay for it for a different reason. I agree we shouldn't pay for it because the fire department's taking it out. Why should we put this in another location and then it is gonna go back to where it was before?
Yeah, it's been described as a move to a temporary location.
Okay, so why should we pay for a temporary location and then take that out and put it back at the fire department? That's like throwing money out the window in my, you know.
I mean, my thought was down there by the so-called Maritime Center is the best location for it anyway.
I know, but
Not if you're a bicyclist.
Hmm?
Not if you're a bicyclist, no, it's not. It's very busy down there for bicycles and cars.
Yeah, oh, no, you're not gonna read it while you ride by it.
There's no place to stay if it's busy down there. If there are
Yeah.
cars parked down there, I don't know if you've been down there in busy times, it's not a safe place for them to stop. And
Okay.
where the fire station is on Cleveland Street, it's on that part there, there's a sidewalk, there's a parking lot, there's a walkway where this thing was located.
Okay.
And the reason they moved it, they had to move a shed, they had the opportunity, they had to borrow a machine from somebody to move the shed for the contract to get started.
Yeah, no, I fully understand why, with the construction
And
project going on, they had to move it.
I had a conversation with our park superintendent to see if the town could do something temporarily. The unit is too big. When they put it in the ground, it was designed to withstand a hurricane. So there are 3 feet of concrete on each leg, which our tractor, the smaller one that we have, which is a normal tractor, does not have.
A park department,
A park department
Park,
vehicle. Yes, we tried, that was my conversation earlier, we were gonna try to have them just put it in, a temporary thing with some of the staff that we had.
yeah,
They can't move it. That's why we
Okay.
were dependent on the DPW, because they have a larger machine. And it wouldn't take, we figured it'd be an hour for them just to temporarily put it there or do something to it.
well,
The only other thing I could suggest to the, what's it, Langford, is that his name?
A Langhauser.
Langhauser. The only thing I would suggest to him, if he has the staff or the people to remove the concrete from the wooden things and break them free, we may be able to transfer that over to someplace where temporarily to be with our staff.
I would imagine that breaking up the concrete lump on the bottom of a post would be a jackhammer operation.
You know something? It's his operation. It would be his operation
Yeah.
to do that. I mean, we don't have the staff for that either to do
Yeah,
that. We can't
okay, I know you,
jeopardize that. The DPW is shy. I will attest that they have a lot of projects. If you've noticed the roads, there's a lot of things going on right now, between now and September 20th. So I don't think they have the manpower to do these other things and fulfill its obligation of garbage and other things, so.
And I'm looking at the email that Mr. Langhauser had sent me today. And so I may be incorrect, because let me read what he wrote, because it sounds like perhaps this is a permanent relocation. So he said, last night, we received approval from the select board to relocate the kiosk to the Maritime Center at the corner of Bridge and Water Street. This is a much better location than the original spot. However, we are having difficulty finding help to move and install the kiosk. So it sounds like, that sounds like it's a permanent relocation. So I think I was probably incorrect in characterizing it as temporary, so. The person power is still an issue.
You may want to clarify that, because I know that they've had meetings with the board, and sometimes there's a communication breakdown of what they really meant and what they're understanding.
Well, can I ask probably a ridiculous question? Since the fire department took it out, shouldn't the fire department be responsible for putting it somewhere else? I'm not,
No, I
that's just a
understand that,
feeling.
right.
They do, they have it across the street at the old fire station, safe and sound, behind the building.
No,
So it's
but I
there.
mean,
What-
put it somewhere permanent.
No, they're not gonna put it,
What a
in-
guy, yeah.
they're not gonna put it in the ground.
They're not gonna put it in the ground?
Why would they?
Because they took it out.
For the construction,
I know, but they did take it out.
okay? They could have left it on the side of the road, but they put it in
No,
safekeeping.
they would have never left it on the side of the road, because then that would be really,
Well, it's
ridiculous.
on district property, it's not town property, it's district property, right? You know that.
Sometimes
I
you
know
can.
that, but
Yeah.
my point is, if you take something out, sometimes you're responsible for putting it back somewhere. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna argue about it,
Yeah, I
but
don't think
just,
they're gonna do it, but yeah,
it's just what I would do.
yeah.
Okay, so, you know, it has to go somewhere, it can't stay there either. You can't leave it lying down there, right?
Or they
No, it's
have it in
secure. No, they have it stored, it's secure, that was what stressed to me, it was put in a safe location, so nothing will happen to it.
So how long do you think it's gonna take before they could put it back? Now, okay, so,
So now it sounds like it's
Project-
permanent,
yeah.
yeah, I think I was incorrect in the
Right.
way that.
right,
If they're gonna
email
permanent,
sounds.
put it down somewhere else, I don't know why they would put it there, but whatever. I guess that's the only other Dartmouth owned property that's in the village to put it there.
So I sense that we're in agreement that it's not part of the scope of the grant as approved by town meeting. But I can get back to Mr. Langhauser about one.
Yeah.
You know, there might be a possibility that the Parks and Rec could help if, you know,
If it was just a
something that was
kiosk, we just
doable.
wouldn't, we probably could handle that, but I think that he stressed to me that the machine that they rented was not rented, that they borrowed from somebody. The
Yeah.
district borrowed to do it, was a bigger machine, and we just don't have the capabilities right now.
Yeah.
The larger machine that we have won't be available till after Labor Day.
Okay.
It has other commitments right now. that
Yeah.
we
I
try
mean,
to-
Labor Day, and when is this ride?
Well, I don't,
Seems to me
I don't think I
critical.
saw, it might be on their website, I don't,
It was
webpage.
in Andy's note.
I didn't see a date in it,
Okay.
other than it was just described as September.
I mean, if it's late September,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
something like that, then it's possible. Between now and then,
yeah.
there's nothing
For
that we can
Labor
do.
Day, no.
September 8th.
Oh,
It-
right after Labor Day.
Gotta get
It would
glasses.
be tight, I
Yeah,
think.
September 8th.
I can reach
Gotta
out
be a little
to,
close.
I'll reach out to Tim again tomorrow. He was
Okay.
someplace, I'll reach out to him tomorrow and see if there's something else that maybe we can do.
Yeah, okay.
What's the importance of that kiosk to the ride?
But, yeah, probably could put something.
The ride is, this
Is the concrete.
trail
He said
that's being created
His machine.
connects all the kiosks.
He had to use a forklift to lift it up.
What's happening?
Yeah.
I don't know how essential this kiosk necessarily is to the ride that's on September 8th. Ultimately, it'll be one of the trail stops kind of thing. So I don't know, I don't think it's, I would guess that it's not so critical to this inaugural kind of thing that they want to do.
'Cause you could always just have like a temporary lawn
Right.
sign printed.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think what's on, if it's a QR code, they could probably mimic something and have it
Right.
there on the, maybe post something on the side of the,
Yeah.
the harbor master's
Right.
building that's there.
Yep,
I'm imagining that it's a window of, you know, a few hours on a bright weekend day, we hope. And if somebody is standing there with a, you know, like election day, with a sign that says, this is your mile post on the route,
I
fine.
mean, they may want to even consider, I mean, the other piece of property that's there is the old district building across the street. That may be a better location.
Have to present.
It's probably about 40 feet away from the
I
old
think
fire
that's a
station.
better location.
You know, if they stuck it there, they could, you know,
Yeah.
right on the property line there, it's out of the way, it's not gonna be moved
Right.
again.
Well, God willing, in a year or two or three, somebody will figure out what to do with that building.
But for now, that's
Well, I'm
a
saying,
perfect.
if
And
if
we'll
they're
have to
looking
move
to
it
keep
again.
something in the, I mean,
Right.
maybe if he calls up, if they're looking to keep something in the village, that's probably the better location right now.
I think so.
It's close by, it's not something that's gonna be in the way of anything,
Hmm.
you know?
Plus, they're gonna look around for the kiosk, and they're gonna look and see it.
The appeal of the Maritime Center as a location for it is that it's directly across the street from an ice cream stand. And if it's a place to stop your bicycle ride,
Yeah, it really is.
I know it's a
congested
very,
there.
it's
not-
a very, it's
To bring it, to have a magnet more
Yeah.
of people stopping there, it's,
a mess.
you know, if you're gonna think about that, put it on the other side of the bridge at the landing,
Right.
you know? I mean, I know they wanted in the village to kinda bring it up, but we're limited on space, I think.
You gotta think of safety.
Yeah, I don't see if we could hurt, to look at it. But whatever, they'll figure it out.
All right, we have the cultural center, which they are moving along. They have the asbestos report now, and then they are making some adjustments in kind of their budget, and also kind of project schedule, because you need to get the asbestos dealt with, either removed or abated somehow, before you start doing the rest of the work and stuff like that, so that's where that project stands. And then we have, for the dais, landing extension or expansion from the harbor master, Mr. Mello, that there's a pre-construction meeting was conducted on the 26th of July. And they are expecting to, I think all the, let's see. They're expecting anticipated mobilization and site prep prior to the end of October 2024. Demolition of the existing pier deck and pile driving to begin about the same time. They are kind of everything lined up and poised to go forward with the actual construction of, for expanding the landing, so that's good news. And he attached several documents to that effect. All right, those are the project updates I have. I do not have one on, Chris Vitale is to provide one on the dog park and the update on the home loan rehab program, which last we heard was on hold while they went back and revised some of their program documents and stuff to make sure they're aligned with the CPA requirements and things like that. And so,
Quick question on that, will that still be, I think it was a $40,000 grant maximum? Remember?
I don't know. I think
Okay.
that's where we left off, though.
Yeah, that's where we left off,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and I have not heard back from
Okay.
Mr. Barber on the Pascomansket, so I don't know if that project if that acquisition occurred. It was supposed to have occurred in July, so I might be able to tell, actually. Let's see. Look this up. Okay, I have not seen, so the balance of the grant is still the original amount, so we've still got to get an update from Mr. Barber on when that, what the status of that acquisition, because I know they're trying to close on the property in July. Okay, so, Michelle, we're trying to track down whether or not there's been a miscommunication with the scenic route folks about being here, because they're generally
Pretty good.
early.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing there's been some miscommunication.
Can this be postponed to next month? Obviously.
Yeah, so we will, I think that would be the thing to
Fine,
do.
yeah.
It's not complicated. Our warrant is not complicated. It'll be a little later than the town is used to getting it, but literally, if we approve the project for recommending it to the town meeting, later that night, I can fire off something. If the committee is fine with this, I would rather us postpone and try to stick with the process that we have, in which there's public comment period or available to folks on the projects that come before us. So we would just take that up in September.
Want a motion to move it to September, or just?
Yeah, well, yes, because we still like to have a public hearing, so if we
Yeah.
could have a motion to have our public hearing at our September meeting for the purpose of hearing a presentation on the proposal that's before us.
Motion on what Buddy said.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion, questions on that? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous, all right. Which brings us to the end of this agenda, and it's good to have a short meeting every once in a while. It just keeps the spirits up, doesn't it?
Yes.
But yes,
I have a quick question. Next month, I'd asked you whether we could talk about
Yeah.
Form Bs, because
Yeah.
we've been having meetings to get a list of the next however many properties, looking at how much they're gonna cost. There's one that might be more expensive than the others, and one other person might do it, because she has some expertise
yeah.
in the particular type of property we wanna look at. What do you need from me besides a description? Do you want all the properties? Do you want?
No, I think, number.
Tell me later too, I don't wanna hold everyone up.
Yeah, so I'm thinking probably, the number of properties, what your estimated cost is,
It's gonna be under 10,000.
yeah. Which I think just procurement wise, you don't have to do a bid process or anything like that, if I remember right.
We are looking around at different towns and who
Yeah.
they use, just because,
Yeah,
because you
Yep.
should.
There are a lot of different companies that do that?
Not a lot,
Okay.
no, in fact, they're very short-staffed.
We have the world.
yeah, actually, I should mention
Everybody
it,
is.
I'm gonna sign it, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I can get
Motion to
those.
adjourn? After-
Second.
Not yet, because I was reminded, the one thing you do have to mention, we do have one of the, for the projects that are approved in June, we have the one MOU that's back, is for the dinghy landing, and I'm gonna sign that. The conditions that we had talked about are in there. The other ones, I'm still waiting to, get back from folks. and those will be signed. What happens is we put the conditions in the template, send it off to the sponsor, ask them to fill out the disbursement schedule. And then I take a look at that, if that looks reasonable and as you know, as we would expect it to look, then it's fine to execute. So I'm just so folks know, I'm gonna sign the MOU for the dinghy storage improvements, and then the others are still to follow. So for our next meeting, I have gotten a response from Town Council. Brian Cruz has given me a really good comments and edits around our conservation restriction process. So I think I've got the final version to bring back in September. So we'll take a look at that, and then, you know, I think next steps, as we have previously discussed, is to follow up with Conservation Commission. But Brian did a nice job
Oh,
of
he's excellent.
going through it and
Yeah. Planning uses him.
clarifying some things that I got right and some things that, not quite, but it would work this way. Like, all right, that's just what we needed. We'll talk about our annual needs assessment, because in the fall is when we get comments on that, to prepare for the fiscal 26 plan. And we have an eligibility consultation application from the Ag Commission regarding setting up a trust, capitalizing a trust for the purpose of preserving agricultural land. So we will invite them to come to September's meeting so that we can start the conversation on that. That webinar, you know, that was great. If folks haven't had, I registered, so I
Yeah.
got a copy of it, but,
Have to get a copy. I registered, but I couldn't make it.
yeah, but the nice, we have the copy, that's super helpful.
Good.
And that'll get us started, because I think with that idea of the trust, that, you know, the devil's in the details, so we want to get to the details this fall, so that an application that, you know, confirm that we know how this would work, the details are nailed down, it's feasible, we know how it'll work, and that'll all be in time for an application to be filed in January. That will then open the door for capitalizing it. But the detail work we want to get out, do this fall. And I think that's a lot for September, so we'll probably ask Tim to talk to us in October about how the dog park's coming.
Yeah. I just got back, he just got back to me on the question about, so I don't know who's gonna talk to that person for the kiosk. He said if they bang off all the concrete, he can dig the holes and put it in, but someone's gonna either have to provide concrete
Yeah.
to so we've got the labor. They just need to take care of the concrete off of those items, the kiosks, off the legs, and he can take care of it prior to their soiree in September.
Oh, good.
Okay, great.
All right.
I'll write to Mr. Langhauser.
Yeah.
Langhauser this evening. Okay. And then we'll follow up with the folks for the scenic bikeway. All right, so,
Meeting is
Back
when,
to that
September
motion.
10th? September 10th?
yeah, I believe that's right, is
Yes.
that correct? September 10th. Okay, a second on that?
Submit that motion.
All in favor? Any discussion? We want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was unanimous.
Give you that for next month.
Thank you.
Save a little paper, save a tree.
Yes. All right.
I'd love to
I
get
still
back
say
to
that,
sailing in
I still say that the
the-
town, all these boards,
Surprising.